4 of the 6 of us are from the original band lineup. So
yeah, it's nice having.
They say Steve Ferroni is the new guy, and he's been in the band for 20 years. So,
I know,
we've got some consistency.
That's amazing. I got to tell you, like I said, my wife and I have seen you guys 4 times. The first time I saw the band was by accident. It was 1976. The first album had come out. I was doing college radio. And we went to Boston. The radio gang went to Boston to see Mink DeVille at the Paradise Club. And it was a really, really hot August night. And we're waiting for Mink, and the guy comes out and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers." Well, we just about lost it. Didn't even know that you were the opening act. And
actually, we weren't the opening act. Mink DeVille was opening for us, I think.
At the Paradise. No, you know what? You know how I remember? Because when you came out, it was the first time I ever saw anybody do this. Tom looked so pissed off the whole set. You guys were smoking. And I never saw any, and I just remember Tom was in a black leather jacket. He was all sweaty and had the snarly face. And just, I had never seen a guy come out on stage and be so angry. And
because I loved Mink DeVille.
God bless him,
I just remember that Mink DeVille did open for us a bunch of times. So maybe we opened for him once. I was drinking so much at that Paradise gig, Lord only knows what happened. We could have been on the bill with Ringling Brothers Circus and Toady Fields, and I wouldn't have known it.
For a really big shoe. You know what I remember about that show specifically was I had never seen anybody do this, but Tom was playing the guitar, and he left the stage and started walking on tabletops, and he just started kicking bottles off the tables, and I don't mean just like tapping them over. I mean like full throttle Adam Vinatieri field goal kicking. Boom!
Well, you got to get your exercise in somehow. We're all like, you got to stay in shape whatever way you can.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was absolutely one of my most favorite rock and roll memories, especially since I hadn't even planned on seeing you.
That's fantastic. That's the way that I saw Los Lobos for the first time. I went to a club to see somebody else, and Los Lobos came out and just blew my mind.
There's a record company friend of the station that swears that they're the best band around.
Los Lobos is really a remarkable band. They've got it all going on. I highly recommend everybody see Los Lobos if they get the chance.
Do you know if you've ever have the Heartbreakers ever done a show in Maine? There seems to be some disagreement with people's memory as to whether or not you've ever been here before.
We have. We've played Bangor.
You did play in Bangor. That's what we thought, but that was 70-something?
It's been a while. I thought it was in the 90s. But my memory is not what it used to be, and it never was what it used to be. So.
Well, you're going to have a real good time Sunday night. Portland is beautiful, and they've just finished millions and millions of dollars in renovation in the Civic Center that's just reopened, where you're going to be playing Sunday night, so I think you're going to be very happy.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's like, what is it, the Cross Insurance Arena now? And it's
yes.
Like the Cumberland Civic Center.
It used to be the Cumberland County Civic Center. Right now it's Cross.
Yeah.
It will always be the Cumberland County Civic Center to those of us that have been here that long.
Well, that's how it is, When we play venues, sometimes they change, and there's some new company, God bless them, they keep the venue open, and so they put their name on it, and but it's always whatever the old name is, and the old name usually has more resonance. Yeah,
it's not. There's not too many. You don't get the Thomas Jefferson Memorial Auditorium anymore.
No, you don't. You get the name of some corporation, but
So where am I talking? Where am I talking to you from? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Boston.
You are? Okay, getting ready for Fenway Park Saturday night.
We are, and wow, that's a trip.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, that's extraordinarily cool. That's extraordinarily cool.
Is there any place you guys haven't played that you would like to go to?
Well, we don't play overseas much. So, we've actually never played except when in 1980, and then again with Bob Dylan in 86, we played Japan, but we haven't been back to Japan since then. Haven't been back to New Zealand or Australia since then.
Wow. And
those places I love, and there's a lot of the world I'd like to see. In the United States of America, I think we've played just about everywhere. We've never played Alaska.
Never played where?
Alaska. I said,
wow, okay.
That'd be really great. I'd like to do that. But the main thing I like doing as far as playing is I like playing. It's not about the place; it's about the people.
Yep.
So I just want to play places where people are, where everybody can have that communal experience that you can have a really good show, and whether it be a rock and roll show or a hip hop show or whatever,
right?
Where everybody's just there, where there's like you take all of those people there and the band that's on the stage, and you just become one thing. So that's what interests me. It's more to find like-minded people who are in the moment and in the spirit with you, where you can all board the same train.
No matter where you go, to having this, people knowing the songs and singing them back, no matter where you are, that's going to be just so rewarding. I can't even imagine that could ever get tiresome.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And you never take it for granted. You never remotely take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
It's and that's for me, and I just play on the records. For Tom to have written all of this stuff and to have people singing must really be gratifying. It must really be something.
Which reminds go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned, Tom writing the songs. I know you just did a solo album that came out this year. You're one of my favorite songs ever. I'd love to hear the Heartbreakers do Never Be You that you did with Roseanne Cash. Does that ever come up for discussion?
Well, I'll tell you what. Before Roseanne Cash did it, we actually put it on a soundtrack with Maria McKee from Lone Justice.
No, sir, really?
But before that, the Heartbreakers recorded it for Long After Dark, the album that has You Got Lucky.
Right. Oh, no kidding.
And just for some reason, and I don't know what it is, we weren't quite satisfied with it, or it didn't seem to fit into the records. It didn't wind up on the record. Because sometimes a song stylistically doesn't fit into the rest of the record.
Mm-hmm.
But as I recall, he sang it really, really beautifully, and we had a really good track. But I think we erased part of the track, too, at the end of the day when we decided not to use it.
Okay.
For I don't even know what reason. So if we even wanted to go back and remix it and put it out, we couldn't.
Speaking of being, like all the records, it seems like you're on a million. I mean, there are so many albums and CDs I have where Benmont Tench is playing keyboards. I've just lost track. I'm wondering also, kind of related to the last question, is there anybody that you haven't made a record with that you'd like to? It seems like you've got all the bases covered, but there must be a few that you'd like to play for.
Well, I'm such a music fan. There are always people that show up who I'd love to just play music with, and I don't care if it's just around the house or if it's on a record.
Okay.
I always want to play with Bob Dylan more.
Sure.
There's a wonderful singer, Guatemalan singer named Gabby Moreno, who lives in Los Angeles, who I'd really like to work with. And but there isn't. I never think about it that way. Okay. I was really fortunate that a lot of people called me to play on records, and some people still do. I don't know really how it happened. I kind of walked in the right door at the right time. And, the next thing I know, there's Don Was calling me up. I made a lot of records that Don Was producing in the 1990s with Bonnie Raitt, with the Highwaymen, with Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson solo records.
Okay.
And,
wow.
Just crazy, crazy stuff.
That's cool.
And he calls me up one day, Don Was, and says, Ringo Starr and I are taking a Learjet up to Merle Haggard's place tomorrow. Do you want to come?
Please tell me you said yes.
And I'm just like, what? Like, what?
That's
and
cool.
So, yeah, of course I went. So, somehow all of this stuff just happened to me. And do I pinch myself? Constantly.
Sure.
Constantly.
That's way cool. Are you one of the last guys, and I don't know if you still do it, if you're doing it on this current tour, but it's something that my wife and I noticed on the Peter Bogdanovich documentary was on a few weeks ago, and I think it was maybe the Gainesville anniversary show. Do you still play a real grand piano? Do you bring a real grand piano on stage?
I play a Steinway grand piano. It is not digital. It is real. It has a pickup in it so that I can hear it, and it has really high-quality microphones in it so that the audience can get the best sound from it.
Good for you, man. I just if it is possible to play the real instrument, I play the real instrument. Yeah, because you have banks of
big difference.
You're surrounded by so much stuff. I was wondering, that takes up a lot of room, but what a difference between having a real piano. My God.
The piano is an enormous difference, and I think the Hammond organ is an enormous difference. I have a few digital things up there, but by and large, I like the old stuff. I'm old-fashioned. I prefer recording to tape. The Heartbreakers don't care, but I prefer recording to tape. I prefer listening to records over CDs.
I'm with you.
I just think it's a superior thing, and so I'm stubborn, and I'm not going to let it go.
We're old school, man. I'm with you. I believe that totally.
Yeah. And it actually is a higher quality. You can quantify it. You can scientifically quantify it. But different strokes. Some people like the digital sound.
Yeah, I guess so.
Not me, boss. No.
Now that I've spent a little time talking to you, I'm going to have to go out and get what's the album called? It's called "You Should Be So Lucky," right?
You should be so lucky, yeah.
Okay, what can I expect when I go pick it up this afternoon and I bring it home? What can I expect?
Well, I guess you'd call it singer-songwriter stuff. I like to think of myself as I sing kind of like Chet Baker or somebody if they couldn't sing. So the voice might take you a little getting used to, but it's mostly fairly quiet, and
okay.
And it's very directly done. There's not a lot of gimmicks on it because Glenn Johns produced it.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So we did it on tape. We had 11 days to do it from the start to the end of the mixing, and we had the best time of our lives.
Where'd you do it?
That's the best time. We did it at Sunset Sound Recording Studios in Los Angeles, where I think the Rolling Stones did parts of XL on Main Street and Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, man. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
That's just the vibe alone. We'll push it to the next level.
Well, I think it's a good record. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it. I knew that it was out. It was one of those things where sooner or later you got to get it. And then the opportunity. Yeah. I found out I was talking to you today. I said, okay, that's what I got to do today then before I go home.
I really hope you like it. We had a really good time making it, and I'm very, very pleased with it. I'm kind of knocked out that Glenn actually, chimed in, and my friends who played on it chimed in and played on it.
That's really cool. There's a bona fide, actual, real record store just a couple of blocks away from where the radio station is here. And we're just a block or two away from the Civic Center, so it's a nice summer stroll. You get off the air and enjoy beautiful Portland, Maine. Go down to a real record store and buy something and take money out of my wallet. I still love doing that.
Well, do you still listen to vinyl?
Yes, I got a turntable at home. Yep, I never gave up the vinyl.
What, if you see it, and I doubt that they'll have it, if not, if I do see you, although I don't know if I'll get to at the shows on Sunday, if I can find one, the You Should Be So Lucky record, the trip about it is vinyl, because it is recorded to tape, and it is recorded by Glenn, so it's really worth hearing on vinyl. And Hypnotic Eye on vinyl is a revelation. And I'm not just saying that because they're records that I'm on. Hypnotic Eye sounds great on the CD, but you put on the vinyl of Hypnotic Eye, it's a whole other world.
And
it's a whole other world.
That's some to really be proud of. I love the fact that the disc has the old school Reprise label on it. Like I remember all the old Kinks albums had that pink and green and the tugboat.
Yeah, absolutely.